When building a wall, the materials you use are only as reliable as what holds them together. Poorly mixed mortar leads to cracking, weak joints, and eventually collapsing structures. But a perfectly executed mix ensures your walls stay strong, safe, and stable. Mortar acts as the essential glue in any masonry project. It is the binding material that locks individual bricks and blocks into a single, solid unit. To get this right, you need to master a specific set of steps. We are going to cover how to measure precise proportions, execute the mix correctly, run quality checks, and apply the material to a professional standard. Because no matter how carefully you lay a brick, a flawless application means nothing if the chemical mix isn't right from the very start. Step 1 is proportion. Proportion means using the exact correct amount of each raw material. For a standard, reliable mix, the industry rule is 1 part cement to 3 parts sand. Looking at this guideline document, we see the consequences of getting this ratio wrong. Adding too much sand makes the mortar structurally weak. Overcompensating is also harmful. Too much cement wastes expensive material and causes the dried mortar to crack. When mixing by hand, you have to start with a completely clean surface. Any dirt or debris will weaken the bond. Measure your clean sand and cement. Before adding water, thoroughly mix the sand and cement completely dry. Use your shovel to blend them until the pile turns a uniform, solid color. Precise measurement and a thorough dry blend are the absolute prerequisites for establishing a strong chemical bond later. With dry materials blended, you can begin the hydration phase. Add water very slowly. If you rush and pour too much in at once, the mix becomes completely unusable. Fold the dry pile into the water gradually. Keep mixing the wet mortar until it reaches a completely smooth consistency. Referencing the mechanical mixing guidelines, using a machine requires a specific sequence. You add your materials into the mixer, start the machine, and allow it proper time to mix before carefully removing the batch. Never overload a mechanical mixer, and keep your hands completely clear of the turning drum while the powerful blades are in motion. Whether you combine the ingredients by hand or let a machine do the work, your ultimate target is exactly the same: a perfectly integrated, smooth compound that hasn't been overhydrated. Looking at the standards checklist, you need to verify your batch is structurally sound. Good mortar has specific observable qualities. It must stick well to bricks, be easy to spread, resist cracking, and dry strong. You can verify this using the trowel test. Scoop up a portion of the wet mix. Ideal mortar easily spreads across a surface, but it should also hold its shape on the trowel without sliding right off. Visually, the final product must look smooth and even. It needs to strike a perfect balance, neither crumbling from dryness nor dripping from excess moisture. Checking the common mistakes section here, you can see the errors that instantly compromise a mix. Adding too much water or using dirty, contaminated sand will guarantee a failed batch. Strictly passing these physical and visual quality checks is the only way to guarantee your mortar won't result in weak, unstable construction. Once your mortar passes the quality check, it's ready for application. In construction, there are 2 primary uses for this mix: binding and finishing. Reviewing the binding application, binding is the process of holding structural elements together. This is what you do when laying individual bricks or heavy concrete blocks. The procedure takes 4 steps. First, spread the correct amount of mortar onto the base block. Second, place the next block on top. Third, press it gently into place. Fourth, immediately use your trowel to scrape away the extra mortar that squeezes out. The resulting joints must meet strict visual standards. They need to be perfectly straight, evenly spaced, and have absolutely 0 gaps. Moving to finishing, also known as plastering, this makes a raw wall surface smooth, neat, and protected. Following the procedures, you apply mortar to a clean wall, spread it evenly, smooth the surface, and let it dry without rushing. Correct application technique is what ultimately transforms raw mortar from a wet paste into a permanent, load-bearing component of the building. When done correctly, you're left with a perfectly bound block wall where every joint is tight, or a flawlessly smooth plastered surface free of cracks. Adhering strictly to these measurement, mixing, and application standards is the direct path to creating buildings that are strong, safe, and long-lasting. But before you finish for the day, there is one final step. All trowels, mixing boards, and mechanical mixers must be thoroughly cleaned with water immediately. Once leftover mortar hardens on your tools, it is nearly impossible to remove. You are now fully equipped with the knowledge to measure, mix, test, and apply perfect mortar every time.